Not every state has to adhere to another state's laws, though. Remember,
Right.
you know,
My grandfather's truck in Texas, my dad's father, he always had to make sure his truck had a gun rack. And of
right?
course, he had that big old knife in his hip side because he used to
It
go
looks
deer
like
hunting
our
all the
other guest
time.
is trying to chime in. I see her here.
So he had to have
She's
that
not connected yet, but she'll be here
knife.
shortly.
Are we
So
live right now?
yeah. So
We
he had to
are.
make sure he had to go
Oh, okay.
gun
Yeah.
deer hunting. So he had to have that knife and all the time. So
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. She will be with us soon enough. So why don't we go ahead and Amelia, let's go ahead and do this, puppy.
let's do this.
I'm going to issue a disclaimer.
Okay.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
It's 4 p.m. in California. It's 7 p.m. in New York City. And the rest of the country, nobody really knows because we don't know what the rest of the country's doing. How you doing, everybody? Mad
Get
Dog
out.
DeCipio for What's the Buzz podcast. Amelia, it is Tuesday night. What does that mean?
It's what's the buzz time?
Absolutely terrific. We got a great show tonight. We got a really interesting show. We are going to talk about tonight's show is called Red, White, and Screwed. We're going to talk about how the U.S. government has screwed over its citizens and continues to do so on a daily basis. And to join us in this fascinating melee of conversation and mischief and mayhem. Oh, damn, that was good. Hold on, guys. There's
Yay.
Amelia Pitbull Chapman. There's Amelia. And Michael Armageddon Murphy, former pro wrestler, gun advocate, ex-military. He'll hand you a line of shit. Just say yes to him. That's all.
Yep,
And we
it's
have
a
another
mad
guest.
dog world, and we're all wearing milk bone underwear.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Where he comes up with this shit? And we're also going to be joined by Sharon Bodine. She is an activist, outspoken, and fed up. Tonight, how the government screws you from A to Z. Now, I'm going to tell you about this show tonight. We did, well, I should say I did. I did something the other day. I found a book by a guy named James Bovard. And James wrote a book called How the Government Screws You from A to Z. And I thought, well, I'm going to take a little snippet at this. And the more I read it and the more I thought about it, I said, this is a show. This is definitely a show. And so what I decided to do was take everybody's frustration, because we've all had it from time to time with the government. I'll tell people every day, I love my country, but I hate my government. Sometimes
Yes.
they are really deplorable. They are the deplorables, not us folks, just so you know. So James Bovard wrote this book, and he organized it from subjects, everything from affirmative action to zoning laws, literally A to Z. His writings have been publicly denounced. I mean, publicly denounced by the FBI, the Secretary of Agriculture, the Secretary of HUD, Housing and Urban Development, by the Postmaster General, by the TSA, by the International Trade Commission, by the DEA, FEMA, and other notable misfits and malcontents like Joe Biden.
That must mean it's true.
Yeah. With that in mind, what's great about what Bovard did is that he seems to have no loyalties or vested interests. In other words, he's not taking sides. he went straight down the middle with this. He's not picking and choosing sides here. He's telling the story the way it is, and if you accept it for what it is, great. If not, then don't try to find something in it because it's not there. Even to a fault at times. We are going to start with. I have to read this. This is Mike Murphy. Your guy's got a sense of humor. You're going to love this one.
Okay.
So let me read this first. How is the U.S. government fucking you royally? Well, inequality in taxation, unfair laws to favor the rich, rigged elections with unqualified poll workers, fake news, fake stories, fake media, fake gas shortages, unprecedented gas prices, fake food shortages, unequally high food prices to the poorest people, government-controlled social media like Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Yes, they control what you can put. Illegal immigrants with more rights and privilege than you do, and erasing our American history. And if you want to know how this is possible, I'm going to tell you how it's possible by reciting to you some of the most amazing laws that are actually on the books today. Amelia and I couldn't even fucking believe it. Couldn't believe it.
It was so unbelievable. I had to print it out myself.
This is an actual law. Think about this. Senators had to vote on this. I want you to listen carefully to what I'm reading from Washington State. When two trains come to a crossing, neither can go until the other has passed. Think about what that. Please think about that. And don't think too long or too hard. Think about that. Neither can go till the other has passed. Okay? Mr. Murphy, hold it till I'm done. In the state of Tennessee, where I spent so much time, marrying kin is acceptable over the age of 16, provided each is of the opposite sex. In other words, incest is legal, but not homosexual incest. Also, from the great state of Tennessee, it is punishable by a $500 fine or 1 year in jail to share your Netflix password.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
in Utah, in the state of Utah, you are violating the law if you do not drink milk. I can't make this up. It came right from Utah legislation.
Mm-hmm.
In Alaska, Mike Murphy, you'll appreciate this. It is illegal to get drunk in a bar. It is illegal to get drunk in a bar.
That was very weird.
I think I can actually feel the aneurysm starting.
In Maryland,
yeah.
In the state of Maryland, not all that far from me, in the great state of Maryland, it is a violation of the law, state law, to grow thistles in your yard. Can somebody tell me what the fuck a thistle is?
It's a thorn.
Uh-huh.
It's illegal to grow thorns then.
Mm-hmm.
In Maryland, in
Yep.
your yard.
And this is another one from my Florida. I know you have a different one for Florida, but they came up with another good one. It's illegal to sing in public, a public place, while wearing a swimsuit is one of them.
I'll go one better. In the state of Kansas, the state of Kansas that gave us the Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
The state gaming board, you'll appreciate this being a hunter, Mr. Murphy. The state gaming board prohibits the use of mules to hunt ducks.
Mm-hmm.
In West Virginia, it is against the law to whistle underwater. I can't make this up. I can't fucking.
I will pay real money to see that.
Uh-huh. Did you already read Georgia? Because I got another good one for Georgia.
In South Carolina, you must be 21 years old to play pinball.
Uh-huh.
New Mexico. This is exactly the wording of
Mm-hmm.
the law. Listen to this one. Idiots may not vote. That's
Oh,
New Mexico.
and guess what else they put in there for New Mexico?
Go ahead.
The entire national anthem must be sung.
Yes.
I
have
swear,
that.
we're not making this up. It's in there, printed out.
In the state of
Jesus
Michigan.
Christ, what are you going to sing half the national anthem and go, nah, I can't make the rest. I just can't do it.
In
Why?
Michigan, it is illegal to kill a dog in Michigan using a decompression chamber.
Then how does anybody date?
Here we go. In Massachusetts, at a wake or funeral, mourners may not consume more than 3 sandwiches.
That's it. Just 3.
I can't make this stuff. You want to
No.
know why the country is in trouble? This is why. Let me just tell everybody. Here's where this came from. And we thought about this. Amelia, I'm going to ask you
Uh-huh.
to talk to Murph for a minute. I have to excuse myself for a second, folks.
Okay. I'll have to read some of these.
My mic is on, Amelia, but I'm right here.
Also in Iowa, kisses may last no longer than 5 minutes is another one. And also, of course, let's see what else. It's in Minnesota. It's unlawful to cross state lines with a duck on top of one's head is another one.
Has
And
this
it-
become a problem?
In Nebraska, if a child burps during a church service, his or her parents may be arrested. Is another
What was that one for?
for Nebraska.
No, what was the law again?
That if a child burps during church
Oh.
service, and also
If a child burps, did you say burp?
yes, burps.
I just want to make sure I heard that. Go ahead.
Yes, and also in Arizona, hunting camels is prohibited. Is another one.
Again, when has that become a problem in Arizona?
Somebody must have hunted a camel in there.
Unless they're going to a circus.
Unless, yeah, and in Georgia also, it's against the law to carry an ice cream cone in your back pocket on a Sunday. But you can do it Monday through Saturday if you want. There's no problem with that.
Do you know what the scary thing is?
Mhm.
This is a scary thing. All these laws were made. They're like safety tags on appliances. Like do not use in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all these laws happen because somebody actually did it.
Yeah. And in Oregon, it is illegal to pump your own gas. They have to have there's no self-service stations in
Well, isn't
Oregon.
that the same in Jersey too?
New Jersey, yeah.
It's illegal in Oregon too, because I've heard that before, that they don't have self-service stations there at all. So I do understand
There you go.
where that's coming from.
In New York State,
Mm-hmm.
it is illegal to jump off of a building. The penalty is death.
Yeah,
Can't make it up.
it's
Can't
death.
make it up.
Yeah.
Can't make it up. These are
Nope.
real laws, folks.
Yeah.
Here we go. In Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want to know why Joe Biden came from Delaware. Okay, here you go.
That's a good one.
It is illegal to fly over any body of water unless one is carrying sufficient supplies of food and drink.
Wait a minute, isn't that where the food and drink came from? The baby formula?
Iowa.
Supposed.
You know what Iowa stands for, don't you?
Uh-huh.
Idiots out wandering around. Listen to Iowa.
Uh-huh.
Mustaches are illegal if the bear has a tendency to habitually kiss other humans.
That's a different one.
In Missouri, single men between the ages of 21 and 50 must pay an annual tax of $1. That's true, by the way,
For what?
because they want you to pay a tax of $1 for being between the ages of 20 and 50. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
In Hawaii, coins are not allowed to be placed in your ears.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here we go. This one, I would love to see the conversation over this one. Arkansas. The Arkansas River may not by law rise higher than the Main Street Bridge or Little Rock River.
Or if you mispronounce Arkansas, you better get it right or pay the price. But it doesn't
Yeah.
tell you what the pay the price
Yeah,
is.
Arkansas, not
Arkansas.
Arkansas, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas, yes.
Yeah.
In Vermont, Amelia
Mm-hmm.
may have something to say about this. In Vermont, women must obtain written permission from their husbands to
Oh,
wear
yeah.
false teeth.
Oh yeah, can you believe that?
This is what we're talking about. Let me
Mhm.
read something to everybody
Yeah.
while we're waiting for Sharon to get here.
Oh yeah, I think
America
she's having
is
trouble.
divided. Huh? Say again?
I think she was having trouble turning her mic and camera on. I think she sent a private message. I don't know if she's.
You wanna go see if you can help her?
Let's see.
And
Here.
we'll be here for you because I'll just hang out with Mike for a minute.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think she was trying to use her Instagram.
Yeah, I told her to use Instagram.
Yeah, you want me to try and call her?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll be back.
Okay, she logged in through Instagram. Okay.
Oh, she is. She's
America is divided economically, politically, and culturally. Income equality is at virtually unprecedented levels.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, and that's an understatement.
Mm-hmm.
Political polarization has risen to new heights. Although the public is less polarized than their elected officials.
Mm-hmm.
We are sorting themselves. And we are sorting ourselves into distinctive cultural tribes, groups, if you will, that increasingly live in different communities. The proportion of Mike, listen to this one. The proportion of parents who would be disturbed if their child married someone of the opposite party went from 5% in 1960 to 50% now. I want to say this again. The parents would be disturbed if their child didn't marry a gay person, didn't come home with a black person, but or didn't come home with like a guy with 3 left feet and one 14-inch cock. They
No,
would be
he's from
upset.
Hiroshima.
They would be upset if they came home with somebody of the opposite political party. That's what that's what we're talking about today. Today's people. Okay? The election of Donald Trump didn't cause the division, but his presidency has exacerbated it. With midterm elections fast approaching and the future of our political system at a crossroad, the question on everyone's mind is, what can we do to a government that continually screws us over? Mike Murphy, you are as red, white, and blue as anybody I know. You're an ex-military. You're a gun advocate. Here's Sharon.
Oh, I was just about to text her.
Terrific. All right, let me get her over here. Sharon,
I was just about to text you.
Kid? How are you, Sharon?
I apologize. I do apologize. This
That's
Look,
okay.
some people are just worth waiting for. This
the
is
camera and audio, so I apologize.
That's
That's
okay.
quite all right. I'm going to bring you up here in the big screen. So this is Amelia. This is
Hello.
Sharon Bodine.
Hi,
Mike
it's nice to
Murphy.
meet you.
I told you Sharon's got more tattoos than you, Murph. My friend Mike Murphy.
I'm looking. I don't see him.
Avid.
You want to see them?
If you
That's
make
my
this
favorite.
woman, if you make this woman disrobe over here, Michael, That's okay. We did issue
Yeah.
a disclaimer.
Calm down. Calm
I
down.
was just about to text you if you needed help.
Sharon, we are a very dog-friendly show. Let the dog bark.
Yeah, that's fine. I got Yorkies, so
In case you haven't noticed it, Amelia is the pit bull, and I am the mad dog. So we like dogs around here.
oh yes.
Excellent.
You'll see at the end of actually, I think your dog may have been my voiceover at the end of the show. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear it.
Yeah.
So Sharon, we were talking about some of the most obscure and ridiculous laws
Oh
on
yes.
the book. Let me just share a couple with you.
Yeah. That was
'cause I
funny.
think you'll get a kick out of this stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this one too. It says
Amelia, go over some of them crazy
Yeah.
laws. you just
oh,
read.
you're not allowed to drive a black car on a Sunday in Denver, Colorado.
On a
It's one-
Sunday.
On a Sunday.
I got one
Yeah.
for you.
That
Sharon, you'll
that'll
love
fuel
it.
them to buy some new colored cars.
And on and here in the state of Florida where I live, one of them is it's illegal to sing in a public place while wearing a swimsuit.
I was listening to that when y'all. Yeah, no, they would have definitely arrested me already.
In Tennessee, Sharon, marrying kin is acceptable over the age of 16, provided each is of the opposite sex. In other words, incest is legal, but not homosexual incest.
I can understand that coming from the Bible Belt because I actually married a guy who knocked up his cousin. So that's
Yeah,
what
I
are
lived in
funerals for
Tennessee.
other than to meet your new girl.
Yeah,
But,
I lived in Tennessee for 15 years. I know, trust me.
I lived in Tennessee as well, so I know
I met
exactly.
I
It's just
met a guy who
confusing for
introduced-
an individual coming from Arizona. That's all. We're like 8 billion people, and you pick that one.
Right, yeah. Well, I met a guy. He introduced me to his wife and his girlfriend, and there was one woman there.
Well,
It
see,
is
the fact that these
punishable by-
guys have lived in Tennessee to me explains a lot.
Yeah.
Hey,
In Tennessee,
he's making
it is
fun
a-
of us.
It is a crime in Tennessee. Let me get this out, Amelia. It is a crime in
Murphy.
Tennessee, punishable by $500 fine or up to a year in jail for sharing your Netflix password.
That,
You can't
yeah.
make this shit up.
hmm
So we talked about now that let's get all that craziness out. We just talked, Sharon, for a moment about the disparity in income, in social status among the classes. There were an upper class, middle class, and a lower class. There's only two classes now: rich and poor. That's
Mhm.
it. The working rich and the working poor, pretty much. There are people who have money that will never have to work, and there are people in our class who will never stop working,
Exactly.
regardless of how much money they have. It says here that the election of Donald Trump did not cause the division that we are experiencing, but certainly exacerbated it. With midterm elections approaching rapidly in the future of the political system at a crossroad, the question on everybody's mind is, what can we do to a government that continually screws us over? Your thoughts, Sharon Bodine?
I agree with, I believe it was Ivanka Trump that said it's about the characters of the individuals, and it is a cop-out to blame a generalized term such as the government for what we can, with enough moments on our hands, research into each individual executive and each politician, find conflict of interest stocks, find a specific intention or agenda that's wrapped around criminogenics, and this is what needs to change. And objectively speaking, I'm living in my vehicle, so I mean I could be very subjective. I've got a service dog for anger management as a homeopathic therapist dealing with the medical industry in this country, but coming from not a subjective standpoint, right? We're calling names and we're taking it personally. Objectively, from a neutral standpoint, we're operating off of old ideologies that no longer serve this nation and its people to its highest peak performance.
I will tell people in the interest of full disclosure, and I will confess to Sharon in the interest of full disclosure, I have been trolling you for about 2 weeks.
Is that a bad thing? Because I heard trolls were bad, so I'm sorry.
if it's a bad thing, then perhaps I'm a troll.
Like, not.
I will tell you.
Well, can you explain what is trolls again? Because what is that? That's just like
I
checking
don't
up on.
know, to be honest with you, I just hear my wife use it a lot.
Okay.
It's two different things, actually. He's been
Explain, please, Amelia.
trolls is the way he was trying to troll you is to get you on our show to talk.
Oh, okay. That's awesome.
What we've been wanting to do on our show is, we've been doing different subjects, of different matters and things like that. Trolls on the other end is people, wanting to get money from you, saying they love you and please be my girlfriend, and wanting to take every money out of your bank and
Okay.
basically.
So
us, on the other
basically
hand,
what
is
I've
different.
done is
Because I was like looking at this like amazing, and okay.
It's wonderful.
I will
thank
tell
for
you,
being on our
Sharon,
show.
in the interest of full disclosure, I've been following your verbiage. I've watched every video, literally every video you have.
Yes.
I have listened
Thank you.
carefully to your wording and how you choose your words. I'm very careful as to the kind of people I have on this show, and my lights just went out. What happened here? But troll is a very good thing in this case.
Yes, sir.
As you may or may not know, I don't know if you researched me, but everybody who watches the show knows I am a certified psychic and medium and a qualified life coach. I'm credentialed as a life coach.
Oh, cool.
But I am I make my bones, as it were, of being a psychic. One of the things I do is I glean from words what people's thought process is. And I sensed a great deal of frustration in you knowing that we were doing this show. And I knew, again, full disclosure, I knew you were living in your vehicle. By the way, I have too at a time in my life. And it was the best experience. I said it before, I'll say it again. I did more learning about myself in that vehicle. I realized just how fucking strong I am.
Yeah.
You realize how tough you are.
Well,
when you have to
construction
do that.
actually made me tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Living in my vehicle makes you reflect, and you also get to observe, and it is a sense of security because we're not being pulled and pushed, and it's your own energy space. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that we do here on this show is we express our frustration openly. One of the things that I think every American citizen can vouch for is that they have from time to time been frustrated with and by our government. I will tell you that I vent regularly on this show at how frustrated I am about some of the absolutely moronic and I'll be kind. I'll be nice tonight. At how ridiculous, let's put it this way, at how ridiculous some people can be in government and how you almost have to be an idiot to work for the government. They want yes people. People like me and Mike Murphy we will never work for government. It's bad enough that Murph already worked for the government as a mercenary, killing people, for a paycheck, but that's what the government called him to do. I, on the other hand, deferred from that activity. I think you get much more with sugar and kindness than you do at the end of a rifle and bayonet.
Yeah.
And I see Mr. Murphy going, no, maybe not. Talk to me, Murph.
In a perfect world, yeah, sugar and spice, and everybody's found Jesus and the dog shitting diamonds, and everybody's happy. Yeah, in a perfect world, but I firmly believe that these countries that we've had problems with, I believe our own government screwed up because they wouldn't let us go in and do our job.
You're absolutely right.
if they let us go in and do our job and do it right the first time, I mean, you remember Muammar Gaddafi?
I remember him. He's dead now.
Yeah. Remember when Reagan was in office? Old
I
Gaddafi
remember.
was like,
Yeah. You're going to see Ronald Reagan tonight.
yeah, Gaddafi is like, oh, I will turn the American seas red with blood. What did
Yeah,
Reagan
wanna
do?
jerk
Reagan
me
turned
off
around
some more,
and said, excuse
asshole.
me, somebody
Yeah.
bomb him, please. Yeah, now when Gaddafi was talking to Hussein, he was looking at Hussein going, don't fuck with these people.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because they'll fuck you back harder.
Yeah. They'll kill your
Um,
children. Don't fuck with them.
Let's talk about this. I want to give some examples because we're going to see some slideshows tonight. We do a thing on the show, Sharon's called Show and Tell,
Yay.
and I think you'll enjoy it. How the U.S. government is fucking you royally, inequality in taxation, unfair laws to favor the rich, rigged elections and unqualified poll workers, fake news, fake media, fake stories, fake gas shortages, unprecedented gas prices, created and manufactured food shortages, unequally high food prices for the poorest people,
Absolutely.
government controlled social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, illegal immigrants with more rights and privileges than you have, and the most grievous, in my opinion, and you'll see it, I wrote it nice and big for everybody to see, erasing our American history.
That's the big one.
And that's just for the past couple of years.
Oh, yes.
That's been a big one for me, and I'll tell you who's to blame for that. A Greek piece of shit named George Soros, a multi-gazillionaire. He's got more money that I mean, can't even tell you how much money this is. He's worth almost a Google. Okay, so if you understand what a Google is, it's one with a million zeros behind it. He's worth almost that much. Okay, that's the kind of wealth this man has. It's unprecedented wealth. He is quite literally the richest man in the universe. More than Bill Gates, more than the Shah and the Sheik and the Prince. Okay? He's got more than all of them. And made his money largely legitimately. Although he did break some laws to get some of it. So let's talk about this little virtual laundry list we have here. Mike Murphy, go first. You're a guy that's never shy about speaking your mind. Let's just throw one. You might like this one. Made up gas shortages, contrived gas shortages. Why would the U.S. government make up a gas shortage, knowing that there's more oil and gas in this country to supply the world probably 100, 200 times over?
One word: control.
Exactly. Go ahead.
As long as it comes down to that old saying: the rule of the gold. He who holds the gold makes the rules.
Yep, that's the golden rule.
Yeah,
it used to be doing the others, but
basically,
now
if you control
yep.
the gas prices, then you control the food prices, the clothing prices. See, because everything from what we're wearing now to the chair you're sitting in, the food you eat, the coffee you drink, how did it get to the store? By truck.
I'll tell you how it got to the store.
Truck.
By somebody, yeah. By
But
somebody
it's
choosing it to be there.
it's still getting blamed on a vague generalized term called the government when we can identify specific individuals who are doing specific things, with their money, like leasing the land and not utilizing it, BlackRock buying up all our real estate, price gouging, slumlords molding the walls. So there are laws against that. In U.S. Corp, commonly known as America, our land, our country, right? It's being divided by the deterrence into blaming a generalized term such as the government instead of us finding exactly which individuals are buying what, right? And we can do that. It's easy to do. It just takes a lot of time. And then you can find out exactly who it is, with what entities are embezzling money, evading the Treasury Department, shitting on our corporation commission, and legitimately overthrowing our nation by way of the and they just deter all of us, scatter us, pronouns, gas, inflated. And I think that there was so much unveiled during Trump's term that they didn't know how to handle it, and they just shut it down.
Exactly. He told the truth.
I'm gonna throw this at you here. Let me hit you with this one. Those individuals you mentioned, those quote individuals unquote that you mentioned,
Right?
They work for a body. They work for a set of bodies,
Agencies,
We call
organizations.
we call that set of bodies government.
Right.
Within that government are pockets. They work for those pockets. In large part, they work for other human beings who have the authority, precedented or not, to make things happen in your life, whether you want them to or not.
Right.
That's the control Mr. Murphy speaks of.
Right.
We gave them that control.
Willingly.
Okay? Follow me. We gave them that control. Once you give control, you will never, I assure you, you will never get it back. That's a virtual impossibility. It will not happen. It's never happened in human history. It will not happen now. For example, when the price of something goes up, it will never, never come down, ever. You will see fluctuations in it, but it will not come down. I remember gasoline at 75 cents a gallon.
Well,
At-
then
at
ultimately
50
they're committing treason. Ultimately, these
treason is unprovable.
well,
You can
if,
never
if we're
prove treason in a court of law.
if I'm not trying to prove it in the court of law, I'm just stating
Yeah.
that we're basically seeing that there are individuals operating off of old ideologies, old indoctrinations, and whether they're aware of it or not, or they're just
Right.
You just hit the nail on the proverbial fucking head. Thank you for doing it so quickly. Okay, let's talk about it. You want to know these people, these old ideologies? Oh, they are older than you believe.
I know.
Trust me.
I know.
They are
I know.
older than you believe. What she's talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is a very, very old ideology called the Illuminati.
Yes.
And they are real and they exist and they control, they plus a family of 9. Okay? The Council of 9 and the Council of, the Council of 9 and the Committee of 300. They are real bodies. If you don't believe me, look it up. I tell you, everything I tell you on this show is provable.
I'm
forget the
more
Justice
I'm more
12.
concerned with the old ideologies that is specifically just like Freudian programs that teach people to be so identified with their ego that everyone's deterred often, it's the guns, take away the guns, as far as the school shootings, right? Things like that, all the trigger happy stuff that's going on.
What if I
When
were to
they
tell
could
you,
they could
Sharon?
they
What if
could
I were
solve
to tell you, Sharon, this is not a new thing?
I'm seeing that now that I've been alive long enough. I'm seeing the
What if I
narrative
were to
over and
tell
over
you?
again.
What if I were to tell you, young lady, that ideology goes back to 1776 with a guy named George Washington and another guy named Thomas Jefferson and John Adams and Ben Franklin? What if I were to tell you that ideology goes back that far?
I understand that, but instead of them deterring from the solution, which I mean, if we don't want civil war, you're not going to be able to take away their weapons, right? They're indoctrinated. We're indoctrinated to protect ourselves with guns, right? And some people to hunt and things like that.
Mhm.
But they use these
Yeah, they're gonna get
homicides and stuff that's going on out
Yeah.
there in order to try to take away, and that
Yeah.
will cause a civil war instead of the solution being,
Right.
hey, what causes them to calm down and not identify with their ego? Meditation.
Yeah.
So I reach out to high schools, in politicians. Are you guys implementing integration of meditation into your school system? They can't pull religious or secular on that due to the fact
Oh
that
man.
spirit
Oh man. I'll
etymologically
tell
means
you what.
breath.
Sister, you just hit a hot button. Boy, did you hit a hot button.
Mhm.
Amelia,
Yes.
I want Sharon with Dr. Tobiah. Dr.
Okay. On the
Tobiah.
29th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a doctor I want you to talk to. He's part
Oh,
of our show.
absolutely. Okay.
Is that a good thing? Like,
Yes.
I
it's
didn't say
interesting.
anything
What
bad,
you're
right?
talking
No.
about,
No. No.
Sharon-
No. It's a good thing. Trust me.
Yeah. What you're talking about, Sharon, Mike Murphy and I had a conversation on not an hour ago.
Mhm.
Literally not an hour ago. And this is a man, I know him for almost 25 years. 24 years I know this bastard. Okay? And he's as goofy now as he was the day.
You're short.
Yeah, I still am.
Hey.
I'm still short, Mike. But Mike Murphy will die with his gun in his hand if you try to take it from him.
Oh hell yeah!
You know?
I have a
This guy,
sign.
he is as red, white, and blue as anybody I know. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
Trust
I-
I'm faded glory. He's shiny glory.
I actually have a sign on my front door that says, "Before you break into this house, take a moment, get right with Jesus, and let him know you'll be alone when you tell him."
Yeah. He ain't kidding.
Right.
He ain't kidding.
No, I know. I've traveled the country enough and observed enough to know,
Uh-huh.
but it's more heartbreaking to me that when we're doing our best to present solutions, and to propel us forward with some progress to actually, I dream of a Norman Rockwell Chevy Chase funny farm life. I don't know
Mhm.
about y'all, but that's
I
that's
got
my
news for
fantasy.
you,
And
Sharon. Let me tell
Right.
you something, kid. I want to tell you something. I live a Norman Rockwell Chevy Chase life, okay? My family, if they put a hidden camera in this house, no one would fucking believe how we survive in here. Because we're all mental in the head.
Yeah.
Amelia,
Yes.
where are we with all this? We haven't heard from you yet. Where are we with all
I
this?
I just don't understand lately where everything's going, because it seems like we start taking 2 steps forward, everything goes great, and then all of a sudden we take 5 steps back.
Exactly.
And
am I allowed to talk about a dick on your thing, on
of
your
course,
channel?
this
You
Okay.
can talk about a
can
dick
talk-
any way you want.
you can.
So I have to use this metaphor because it's the
Okay.
best metaphor ever for it. Okay. So
Sure.
what's happening is it's this big giant dick, and the head of the dick is the aspect of our government and the people in government and the agencies, foundations, organizations, no matter what it is, right, that care about us. They
Exactly.
want it to move forward. Then they're dealing with this gigantic shaft of propaganda, corporate welfare, conflict of interest stocks, and they're like, how? So we're hopefully it's an uncircumcised dick, because then we got some more to work with. But that's why they are working with so many people that are so used to the old ideologies. No, I don't want to invest in new things.
The problem is, in my estimation, and I think that because I'm the host of the show, I'm usually right about everything.
Sorry.
I think the problem is, and I'll summarize it for you as simply, as succinctly, as quickly as I can. Big business became big government. Big government will never become small government ever again. Remember what the government used to be. It used to be a business that made money.
Mm-hmm.
We have a government now that's in such a deficit it doesn't know how to make money. Donald Trump was a businessman.
Exactly.
He made money for the first time in this country, and here's the problem. The people in power, the real people in power, don't want this country to make money. They profit if you're poor. Don't you fucking get it?
They want us to suffer.
You can see that. Yeah.
In your ineptitude, in your sadness, they make money on you.
They want us to suffer and suffer and suffer some more.
So the progression forward is making them understand, because if these are individuals like that are that, you know, selfish, which I totally think they are, for the most part, some of them, if not the majority, then it's getting them to understand they can make money off of other things other than just genocide or what is called energy vampires. You know, they're the criminogenic environments, the dysfunction instead of function. It's almost as if America is a ship and they drill holes in the hull in order to put their fingers in order to justify having jobs, instead of making sure the ship is running sound. You know, if you know that the majority of your country needs medical marijuana, then you provide that. You know, that's where we're having the conflicts between the federal and the states. Same with the abortion. If you see that the majority of humans are needing abortion, and the majority of Americans don't have wages to provide for their family unless they're forced into these, you know, socioeconomic living situations, then we can see the fractures, and it gets solved by pulling away from everybody defending their indoctrination. Oh, Christians, we got to force them to be born. We can't kill them. You know, abortion is bad. But at the same time, so is forcing a birth upon a woman that may die during it, or, you know, forcing a birth upon this. We don't even have thriving wages. They've been working for thriving wages for over a decade.
I feel a disparate need to address that, and I want to say something, and I want everybody to understand. The words that come out of my mouth are intentional. I say everything with great deliberation. So if you're offended at my words, I don't really give a fuck. I'm going to say them anyway. Understand something. The argument for abortion, pro and con, is just that. It's an argument. There's not a doctor in his right mind that's going to force a woman to birth a child that woman does not want to have. Period. End of fucking story. Roe v. Wade, good, bad, or indifferent, has been repealed. Will it come back up on the books? Yeah, you bet your fucking ass it will.
Yes.
Understand something, however, and make this very, very clear to your conscience. I'm going to get on my soapbox. A child is a gift. A child is a gift. Born or unborn, a child is a gift. Every child has the right, deserves the right to live and grow and prosper. You may not understand it, but you could be killing the next president. You could be killing the next great scientist.
So you're for them getting rid of the ability to have abortion then?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So then how are we going to stop with the slave labor? Because it's forced birth where they're just going to get sent to concentration camps.
If you truly believe that there are forced births, then you're delusional.
I don't know, unless I'm there. Like, I've been legitimately, since I wanted to get into politics and you know, franchise my company and do comedy, you know, my body hurts, so I was trying to get my system taught to other massage therapists so I could go do acting and music and stuff, you know, less pain on my body. And my life has been in shambles. Like, I've never experienced slander, gaslighting, all that shit. And so to pick yourself up from that, you're like,
believe me when I tell you, I do understand. What you also need to understand is that you are not alone.
No.
Oh, no, I know.
This.
I know that from
the
since I was a
you're
teen.
Currently living is being shared. Hate to tell you, the life you're living is being shared by millions of people in this country right now.
I know.
There are tens of thousands of people living in their cars and in their vans.
Oh, absolutely.
Or living on a relative's couch.
Yes,
yeah.
especially a lot of veterans
or a
out
friend's
there too.
basement.
So that's where it's like, though. Then, so why would, if a disability woman, which I witnessed while alive, and it was a shock to my system, but if a grandma is not getting enough in disability and the judge is fining her money in a court system in New Jersey that they know she doesn't have now, and then they want her to pay payments back for money she doesn't have. Why are these corporate tax haven abusing executives, God bless their beloved souls, why are they not paying payments to this nation and these states that they are overthrowing with their tax haven abuse, and God bless them? But there's, you know, you got it, just like Denzel Washington says, you can't take it with you when you die. So when they get to a certain amount to where they're buying so much real estate that I am hearing from one side of my nation to the other, all of the grievances of my rural community human family members in all these different states, you know, commercial, residential, small business owners getting thrown out because, you know, some family, foreign family comes in, they buy their 23-year-old the commercial property, he wants a new, you know, Lamborghini or whatever, and rack up the rent.
Right there.
That's what has to stop.
And I want you to take this as a great compliment. Okay? I so admire your altruism. I really
What does altruism mean again? I'm sorry.
It means your zeal for life, for unity, for people being what we used to be. I so admire that. I grew up that way. You got to remember, I grew up in the 60s. I was born in the 50s. I grew up in the 60s. I matured in the 70s. I became a man in the 80s. You know what, Murph? We're having a conversation here. Hold on a second, please.
I agree with her totally, because
you're up next. I got news for you, pal.
A lot of us here in the United States should have what we should have, because we're United States citizens. They shouldn't be giving anybody coming in from another country.
The point I'm trying to make is I admire that zeal, that zest.
Exactly.
I admire it, but you have to understand it does not exist anymore. That altruism doesn't exist anymore. We lived, it is dead, gone, buried so far deep, you'll never resurrect it. It's never coming back. Understand that, please.
That humans don't no longer have the Tigger bounciness in them no more?
No, they do not. No. People are dead from the inside out.
That's why we have to have that's why we need money miracles from these humans that have all this money, because we have specific traditions that activate that stuff.
Listen to me. You're not hearing me. These people have money because they give none to no one.
I'm a hopeless romantic. I've seen a lot of Hugh Grant movies. I can't help it.
I was a hopeless romantic until I got bitch slapped by life. Mike Murphy.
You seem to be doing good, man. Joey, you got Joey Diaz energy pulsating through you.
I got all kinds of shit pulsating through me, baby. Got this for you. Mike Murphy, a former pro wrestler, former military guy, former mercenary, former bounty hunter, and lastly, former pro wrestler. Current friend. You're not a former friend. Thank God.
Well, the show's not over yet.
Mike Murphy. I know the night's not over yet, right?
You Mike, start growling at him.
Where have we, as a society, where have we gone off the rails? Why has government, and I blame government for this, why has government pulled us off the track? We were on a great track. What happened? I could tell you when it happened. I don't know what happened, though. It happened around George Bush. George Bush, the W. Bush.
Which one? Bigger, little one?
The first one.
The first one. Okay, got it.
The little dick of the Bushes.
Oh, no, the little one? The artist. He's a painter.
Yeah. Is that what he is now, a painter?
No, the baby Bush, you know, Iraq. Are you talking about Iraq Bush or the daddy that was like, we got a, George New World Order?
No, George Herbert Walker. No, the old man, he's dead.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. God was merciful and took him. Murph, talk to me. How do we get back on the track, my friend?
Well, first off, and I might say some things here to piss people off, but
Piss
Really
him
don't
off,
give a
brother.
shit.
It wouldn't be the first time you pissed him off on the show.
One thing we've got to do, okay, stop looking our noses down at vocational technical schools. Stop sending your kids to the indoctrination centers that they're getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt so they can go, say you want fries with that because there's no jobs for them.
Exactly.
But yet you go to a tech school, you learn masonry, truck driving, electrical, whatever. Now you have a trade behind you. You can go out and make money. Okay? You can
Sure
make
hell can.
set your own hours. You can make your own money.
Yep.
Okay.
There's something else about that too, Murph, that you failed to mention. Once you have a trade, and once that trade is applied to whatever craft you wish to apply it to, the sky's the limit as to what you can do, when you can do it, how you can do it. You instantly become your own boss. You make your own hours, you make your own money, as much money as you choose or as little as you need.
I drove a truck for 38 years.
Yep.
Where did I learn how to drive a truck? Well, I learned when I was in the Army. I came out of that, I put that to work in the real world. Okay? I'm semi-retired, mostly because of an accident that I was in June a year ago. So what did I do from there? Okay, after 38 years, I didn't want to drive a truck anymore.
Yeah.
So I went to the tech school and I applied for an instructor's position, teaching people how to drive, teaching people how to get their CDL. Okay. And you have to be up on the laws. You have to know what you're doing to be an instructor.
Yeah.
It's not hard. Everybody wants to push their kid into a college, be a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant, something where the big money is at.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Hate to say it, folks, those jobs are already taken up.
Yeah.
And all you're doing is causing your kid to go hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt that they'll never be able to really pay off. But on the other hand, this debt forgiveness bullshit, no. You took out
that's
the
a whole
loan.
nother. Oh, please don't get me
You
started
took
with
out
that.
the loan, you pay it back.
Mm-hmm.
Simple
Let
as
me
that.
tell you about debt forgiveness. Here's I have a big fucking hard on for debt forgiveness. Particularly with regards to the Department of Education and Department of Homeland Security. There are people who are born in this country, grow up in this country, who play by the rules. They live the American dream for the most part till they get to a certain age, and they realize at that certain age that everything that they've come to believe is a fallacy. It's a myth. It doesn't exist. Foreigners come to this country. They rack up hundreds of millions of dollars in debt, and our government forgives. That's debt forgiveness.
Exactly.
They forgive them.
Exactly.
If I am late on my student loan, I'm crucified for the rest of my natural life. I want to tell you something. I took out a student loan when I was 21. It was not rectified until I was 54. Okay?
Yeah.
And they ended up giving me money back because I overpaid the fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
But they were very, very quick to take. But they took their time giving me that money back. It took me years and many lawyers to get me that money back, but I got it.
Now, I'm going to say something.
I got a
And
problem with that. Big fucking problem
here's
with
the thing. I have no problem with any man who comes to this country legally, comes into the country legally, becomes a citizen, he works his ass off, he makes his fortune, and he lives the American dream. I've got no problem with that, man.
I got a big
But when
fucking
you come to
problem
this
with it.
country illegally, and all you do is bitch and moan and bitch and complain, and then you suck off the system while you're doing it. No,
Yeah.
that I have a problem with.
Well, then you have a problem with it because that's what happens in every situation. I'm
Mhm.
going to bring Sharon back in here.
Yeah.
Sharon, you said something a few moments ago with regard to your situation and being a massage therapist, um, being an entertainer, and your body hurting. Um, you might want to lay off the gym a little bit if your body's hurting.
I haven't
Um,
been to the gym in a long time.
yeah, I was going to say because you got a bunch of videos up there in the gym. Um, here's the thing. I'm gonna address this with you. You talked about wanting to be an entertainer and a singer and a comic, and that's all wonderful and everything. And what you said in that regard is the problem I have with young people today. Nobody wants to get their hands dirty. Nobody wants to work a job. Everybody wants to be TikTok stars. I want to show you something tonight.
But they didn't have
Hold
this
on a minute.
technology when
Hold
we
on a
were
minute,
kids.
Sharon.
Mhm.
Sharon, hold on a minute, because you're going to get plenty of ample opportunity. Ample opportunity, I promise you. Tonight, I swear to you, God, tell me if I'm lying.
Mhm.
My daughter showed me a video tonight on TikTok. Okay? A woman with a bad wig going on TikTok,
Mhm.
doing this one. Like, okay? 39.8 million views for a woman going like
Mhm.
this with a bad wig on. This is the problem. And she's getting paid for it, too, by the way. And she's making bank on it. Big fucking bank. There are 14 and 15-year-old kids on YouTube that are multi-fucking millionaires
Oh yes.
that never leave their fucking bedroom making money. Okay?
Mhm.
And do
I
you know
broke
why?
my fucking back at work. I
The
can't work
Iron
again.
Boy.
Hold on, Murph. Hold on, Murph. I got fucking rods and screws in my goddamn back from that shit, from busting my ass. Literally broke my back
Mhm.
working. And some fucking twat on TikTok is making 39.8 million views and
Mhm.
bank, sitting there looking like an idiot going, are
Yeah.
you
Oh yeah.
kidding me?
There's even
Are you
worse than that
fucking
on there.
kidding me?
Oh yeah.
I knew that we had
Go
the
ahead, I'm
fall of
done.
America when I learned about Honey Boo Boo Child.
Oh
And
yes, it's
Oh,
I
Honey
worse
was
Boo Boo's
now.
a
I
twat.
was shocked, and I was like, this is the fall of America, because I've been on I've been wiring my brain according to what I want in me since I was young. And basically what I got to tell them all is just stop molesting kids and traumatizing us, because you turn us into something that you got to deal
Mhm.
with later on.
Well, you
Because
need to talk to the Catholic Church first.
Right.
well, but so when I was younger, I started working at around 11 or 12 years old. My dad's an electrician, and I was raised, in construction. Like, we didn't have these phones distracting us. We were taught, if you want the expensive jeans, we're all middle class or lower class, right? So we're living in a 32-foot travel trailer, and even as an electrician, my dad's bone on bone with both of his knees right now. I had a bill collector contact me the other day to try to get money from my dad. I'm like, bitch, you guys don't pay my dad enough to collect nothing from him. My dad hates me. He's embarrassed because I'm living in my vehicle, and I'm like, dude, had my business partners or any of the men that I loved and cared about and had, teamed up with to do legit business, like, I got legit laws broken against me by business partners, people stealing from me that are wealthy, and it's embarrassing to be from this country when shit like that goes on. But
You
that's
just
what's
made
wrong.
my point.
That's what's wrong with these kids, is that they first of all, we've got all the corporate welfare recipients, God bless their souls. I got to keep putting that out because I don't want them to be scared of me or anything, if I'm going to broker deals and collaborate with them, right, to move us forward. But these individuals, they legitimately are getting paid hundreds, if not thousands of dollars an hour to protect corporate executives whose beast machines are to our entire nation. And these tech companies, with Twitter and all their videos, God bless their dog videos, because a lot of that shit's kept me sane, and so is Netflix. So I can't bitch and complain too much about it. But there's a responsibility that comes along with that much power and with that much money. And
Right.
when it comes to the deterioration of our kids, and I can only think of Obama and what he said when he was president. I hope, I'm not pushing an envelope there, but I got to bring up some things that certain
Push
politicians.
lightly, lady. Push lightly.
Well, I know. I've been on the East Coast, man. I can't even say Hillary's name without people coming after me. So, Obama said something about,
That was you?
these kids need to be, forced into doing community service. Because I've seen kids in second grade that take the food from the lunch line, and there's a sign that says only take what you're going to eat, and they'll look you dead in your eyes, these little brats, and they'll put it straight in the trash. There's no respect. There's no discipline. We're not supposed to be afraid of like God and brimstone and fire. It's just like
Oh, yeah.
normal respect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You spark
The parents
Mr.
lost
Murphy. Go ahead,
control.
Murphy.
Okay. I'm going to jump on that a little bit.
Please do.
Okay. The reason kids have no respect, one, is because we've lowered the standards.
Yep.
Thank you.
Two, they have no respect for anything because, they're special. Everybody's special. And third, the reason kids are the way they are, the reason there are these little fuck ups walking around with technicolor goddamn hair is because, and piercings all over the place, is because their parents don't beat their ass.
But
Let me
then,
tell you something. Hold on a minute.
okay.
Hold on a minute, Sharon. Hold on a second. Present company excluded because you're both adults. My wife and I vacation in Wildwood every year. I see kids 14, 15, 16 years old. I mean, young kids, 14, teenagers, who have thousands of dollars worth of tattoos on them, but no jobs. They don't have any money in their pocket, but they've got thousands of dollars of tattoos of ink on their bodies.
Interesting.
They don't work. Okay. Where are they getting their money from? Mommy and daddy don't have that kind of scratch. Okay.
Wow.
Mommy and daddy don't have that kind of scratch. Where are they getting
Dealing
this money
drugs,
at?
maybe?
They're probably, what I'm seeing a lot of the narrative out there is that they're making it very we're numbing our humans to be very sexual and provocative, and we've got this camming industry that I'm sure just skyrocketed during COVID.
Right.
Yeah, it's I saw that come in with those Bratz dolls, in the toy stores with those little Bratz dolls, and they're wearing those little slutty clothes, and
Oh, yes.
and even I myself, like it gets to a point, like when I was an electrician and a carpenter, I'm working for, and I'm not gonna cry.
Listen, let it out. Don't keep it in.
So when we're building an industrial cooling tower with these industrial plants, they can't operate and abuse our country and our people without that air conditioning unit, and we're making $8 an hour. We got no health insurance. When I was an electrician, I still didn't make enough money to fix my teeth. And what they do is, because these corporate executives don't want to pay their fair share,
Right.
they glamorize the sexuality, and they make it very psychologically warping our kids, and then I get really upset because I know that that's not going to go away, and if these adults want it,
It's never gonna go away.
You should have been here. You should have been here. The show we did with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yes. That was
That
really
epitomized what you're talking about. Let me talk to my friend Amelia. I want to bring you up front and center. I'm going to put the big camera on you, big spotlight. This has been a very emotional show.
It has been. I'm finding the tears back here.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's
No,
okay.
no, don't
I,
you dare,
I I
don't.
understand what you're going through because I work for healthcare. I schedule appointments for people that are on Medicaid and
Amelia works
Medicare,
in healthcare right now.
and
I got
people.
great kits. I don't mind, but
Yeah,
it's like I invent and I create and I finish school and they need these adults. They need to stay.
Right.
If they want that
yeah,
shit, then they need to protect it medically and
yeah,
legislatively
Yeah.
because our teenagers and our kids are getting rounded up in it from these
yeah,
street pimps,
yeah.
So I'm
Exactly.
sorry.
No,
No,
no, no.
I
You
understand where
have
you're coming
every
from
right to be
because it's hard.
frustrated. Go ahead, Mill.
It's hard because where I work at, actually, we schedule appointments for people that can't even afford health care,
Yeah.
and they come in and with even $5 and say, I can only pay $5 today, even though my copay is 25. Can I still come in? Of course, even if you have $1, we'll see you. We're not going to
Mhm.
turn you away if you have $1, and we'll
What
still see
people
them.
don't understand, and let
And
me just make it
yeah,
very clear for everybody listening,
uh-huh.
because this is the law nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
It is the law regardless of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
If you are injured, sick, debilitated, if you need a doctor or a
Mm-hmm.
hospital, and this is for every doctor, every
Everyone.
hospital in the country.
Mm-hmm.
If you need help, they are required by law to see you,
Yes, in a
regardless
clinic.
of your ability to pay, regardless of whether
Mm-hmm.
you have insurance or not.
Yes, you
That
find a
is
healthcare
the
clinic.
law.
You find a healthcare clinic nearby you,
They
and
they will
But the things that
absolutely
they
treat
offer is
you.
only narcotic related, and they're actually committing medical malpractice when they
No, no,
don't.
no, no, no,
no,
no,
no,
Like,
no.
no.
We
No,
do
no, no, no,
not
no.
give out narcotics to anyone.
Nope, 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 nope.
No,
oh,
we
you're talking about specifically just what y'all run.
yes,
Like,
No, and listen,
you have to
listen to me.
find one.
I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, and 700,000 people listening across the world right now,
Mm-hmm.
that there is no way any doctor in this country can turn you away if you are in need of a doctor.
Absolutely,
There's a
that is
law
true.
on the books. It's a HIPAA law.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They have to see you,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of your ability or inability to pay.
Mm-hmm.
They have to accept you as a patient. You can always apply for charity care.
Yes,
There's always a way to pay it.
yes. You just
Every
have to ask for
state,
that. Mm-hmm.
every single state in this country,
Mm-hmm.
with no exception, every state in this country
Yes,
has
and
a pool from which they draw.
yes, and you have to ask
And
for. It's
that's
called
that.
charity care, and
Anybody who tells you that you
mm-hmm.
can't be seen, you tell them to call me and I'll
Mm-hmm.
quote the law to them.
Mm-hmm.
well,
That's
it's
true.
more when we like, for instance, if I don't want to be scratching my skin off from the extreme pain that I'm in, and the only thing
Right.
that works for me is diathermy, the gym, the extreme heat, that takes away muscular pain like nobody's business.
Sure.
Massage therapy, acupuncture, all the things that they don't cover on insurance, that's what is hurting us. And I
Mm-hmm.
talked to a chiropractor here. Him and his wife have a practice off of Carefree Highway in the I-17 here in Phoenix, and he said that the collective of the medical industry and these executives want to, whether they want to admit it or not, they're committing medical malpractice by not referring us when I go to them for my back pain, to my primary care, and the only thing she can refer me to is some painkillers, some narcotics, and they don't even give the ones that heal us. So they'd be giving our veterans MDMA instead of a bunch of diazepines or whatever those behavioral bipolar things are, that have
Yeah.
all the side effects instead of something that floods the
Yeah.
memory section of their
Diazepam,
brain
it's
with
called.
GABA.
Yeah.
It's
Diazepam.
Diaspora.
Yeah, so we don't have access to what we need. Medical marijuana for my pain with these screws in my heel from what California did, and then I
Yeah.
find out, well, I don't get to sue because of a 1975 micro
Well,
law.
Sharon, I
Yeah.
live in New Jersey and it's legal here. So if you need any weed, come to Jersey. I'll get you all you want.
Yep.
Dude, I tell you
and
what, kratom and marijuana and meditation, man.
yeah, and also I think that the veterans are getting the unfair treatment because, to me, honestly, they need to be the ones that get the better treatment than all these illegal immigrants coming to this country
Yeah.
and getting the houses, the cars, all the medical treatment that they're getting before us as citizens and the veterans coming back from
it's
country.
very disheartening. It's very disparaging.
It hurts me. It hurts me.
People
Am I
from-
the only one out of all of us on this planet that didn't know the Democrats brought in illegal immigrants for votes? Because I didn't know that. I thought that
even
we
yeah.
dead
actually
people,
cared about people
dead
and we
people
let
voted too.
that was the problem all
Yes.
along.
Yeah.
Well, see, I didn't know that.
I read a veritable laundry list here,
Mm-hmm.
you know, of things that are wrong with this country.
Oh, guess what?
Not
They
the
even
least
changed
of
my
which-
voter's card. I had to go change my voter's card. They put me as a Democrat. I had to go change it back. I was like, you don't do
They
that.
shit when they saw mine because I'm registered as a communist. I am.
I was like, you
And
don't
I
do that
did
to
it,
me.
And I'm, by the way, I'm not a communist, but I registered.
Well,
as
it's
a communist.
either way,
But I'll tell
whether
you why
it's-
I did it.
whether
I
it's
did it to make a
communism,
point.
socialism, capitalism, democracy, republic, it's still mathematical in nature. If there's a mathematical imbalance, no matter if we have a dictator in you know, or a monarchy, no
Right.
matter what socioeconomic label they utilize, if there's a mathematical imbalance, then it doesn't
Right.
matter. You know?
Well, oh, you're gonna open up the Pandora's box with that one. I'll hold on to that for the next show because we got a show Thursday night
Yes.
on hiding in plain sight
Oh,
symbolism.
absolutely.
Get me started with that.
Angelo, just do me one
Yes,
favor.
sir. Mr. Murphy, you are up front, my friend.
Yeah,
Front and
just-
center. There you are.
Just do me one favor. When
Sure.
my time comes to where I shake off this mortal coil,
Yes,
don't let me vote Democrat.
absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. I will have you cremated in a Republican crematory.
I'm
Yeah,
actually
but after
registered
that-
as
after
a
that, don't
Democrat.
let me vote Democrat.
Say again,
I'm
Sharon.
registered as a Democrat because donkeys are stubborn and I am extremely tenacious and it takes too long to go through all that. I just wanted my driver's license, you know? So I'm like, this is the choice we are.
What we're going to do, with your permission, Sharon, we're going to do a special episode, maybe just you and me, maybe just you and Amelia. I think maybe just you and Amelia. We're going to do a special episode. I know how you ended up like you are, but the rest of the world doesn't, and I think they need to learn your survival mechanism. So I think, Amelia, why
Yes.
don't we right now? I'm going to book Sharon to join you and her. I will produce the episode.
Okay.
I want you and Sharon to be next Wednesday.
Okay.
Next Wednesday,
Okay.
7 p.m.
Okay. Is that
On-
okay with you, Sharon?
on the
Yeah.
East Coast.
Sounds super fun. I cried.
No.
Sorry.
No,
do not hold back the
ever be
tears.
sorry for crying.
If
Listen
you
to
and
me.
I cry, we're gonna cry together. Okay.
That
That's gonna be a
is-
show.
the most basic of human emotions.
I've cried before on this show. Trust me, plenty of
And
times. So he knows.
They are those human emotions are necessary for survival. If you don't shed tears, you'll never learn to purge.
Oh,
what's
he knows
inside.
I cried. The first episode that I was a guest host. He knows I cried on that show, so he let me cry.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll tell you what, man. We've just barely scratched the surface. Let me bring everybody around here. Okay, everybody's back in their place.
And thank you so very much for reaching out to me. I so very much appreciate it. I'm
You
hardcore
are quite
introvert.
welcome.
So.
You can thank my spirit for that because they said this one, and when my spirit speaks, I listen. I only have 2 clients, and they both have initials with the government. See, I'm bashing the government, but I actually help them out once in a while. Well, I can do that because I love my country. I deeply love my country. I just don't like the way certain individuals in this government do business. Like,
right.
I love Donald Trump's style. He don't give a fuck.
No.
That's what we need. We need a guy that doesn't give a fuck.
Exactly.
Dude, and I was legit so frustrated with how much I had learned in the career politicians and how they've been running things that I was like, I'd rather have that man grab me in the vagina than deal with y'all's career politician moves. And we don't even need that. We can't have men who just run around grabbing vaginas, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, Sharon, don't be shy. Just tell us how you feel.
just
At least he knows how to run a country. Look at it that way.
You know, Angelo,
Yeah.
the
I'm
reason
not
that
grabbing your vagina, Mike.
the reason that a lot of people didn't like Donald Trump was not because of what he did or what he wanted to do. First off, he wasn't a career politician.
Right.
He said what he meant. Okay.
And he did what he said.
Right. And I didn't vote for the guy because I thought, well, I like his, world views. No, I hired him to do a job. And he did the job.
Yeah.
Now,
And
most
that's
of the people
exactly
who reasoned
right.
for the second term was not because he didn't get the job done, not because, he was eloquent or anything. The reason he didn't get a second term was because the people out there didn't like the little orange man.
Yeah.
All right. If you think about it, well, I don't like the way he talks. Chelsea Clinton actually had the nerve to say, well, I don't like the way he degrades women. Really? Have you talked to your father lately?
I never heard Donald Trump degrade a woman.
I was more concerned about how many people would be lying about the sexual things, you know what I mean, to get famous or whatever, or to get, or for agendas. They should have as many COVID tests as they've had on this planet. They should have lie detector tests. And then we can really figure out what's going on.
The only thing I ever heard Donald Trump say, Sharon, was on a recorded clip with Billy Bush from Entertainment Tonight, where he said apparently the two of them were having a conversation and Billy Bush's microphone was on. Donald Trump said to Billy Bush, why don't you try to hit that? She's got a great ass. No, look, when two guys, Mike Murphy and I spent a lot of time in wrestling locker rooms.
Oh my God.
That was everyday talk.
Yeah.
That was everyday talk.
On construction sites too.
Well, I mean, I told you what the Ultimate Warrior told me when I met him once.
I actually, okay, I'm going to, confession time, okay?
Uh-huh.
I tell Amelia every week, I always confess something on the show, right? Hey, confession time. I'm in a locker room here in Jersey having a conversation with a wrestler, right? The woman I'm speaking about was behind me. I said, man, she's got a nice ass and a hell of a rack. She turns around and says, you bet your sweet ass I do. She was right behind me. She did. Mm-hmm. She said, you bet your sweet ass I do. She goes like this, and these are my money makers.
Was that the blonde that I brought with me to walk me out to the ring?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was a stripper.
There you go.
She was a stripper at the club I used to bounce at.
Lexi. Her name was Lexi.
Yeah.
That was her.
But there still has to be a balance to that, because then men, they end up complaining about all these Barbie doll women that, end up getting close enough to them, and then they use them for their money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got it to where there's imbalances to it, for those whose soul isn't resonating there, they're like, well, freaking, you can't play me like that and expect me to end up on OnlyFans, It's like,
right?
We ain't playing that game, baby doll,
Get me started with OnlyFans. That's another one that's on my shit list.
That one.
OnlyFans. That's on my fucking shit list too. Mm-hmm. Listen, Sharon, when we go off the air, stay with me there. Don't leave, okay?
We didn't even get to put any of our little promos together.
We're not going anywhere. We're not, Amelia. I'm not through with you yet. I want to tell everybody Thursday night, 7 p.m. We are doing a special episode. Oh, I can't leave this episode yet. We're not
No.
done yet. I didn't even do show and tell
I
tonight.
know. That's what I was trying to tell you. My
Roll
show
back.
and tell.
All right, here you go. This is show and tell.
Yep.
For the record, I love Alex Jones. You see the headlines in these papers? Please note.
Yeah.
Yep.
And believe me, I didn't have to look hard to find them. I didn't have to look hard at all. They are Murph. College debt, brother, right there.
I had to take my shot.
Both of which suck balls.
Yeah, the government, military.
Are those condoms? Oh my god.
Yeah, they are. You want to see that one again?
Oh my gosh.
Let me read that to you.
Yeah, will you do that? Thank
The
you.
government announced today that it is changing its emblem to a condom because it more clearly reflects the government's political stance. A condom stands up to inflation, halts production, destroys the next generation, protects a bunch of pricks, and gives you a sense of security while you're actually being fucked. Dan, it just doesn't get any more accurate than that.
Have y'all heard of the Department of Commerce and Labor?
Sure, absolutely.
What do y'all think about that as far as reversing the criminogenic environments, reopening it and manning it with an auditing team that goes through and starts?
Happen.
You don't think so?
It'll never happen.
God, nobody wants to solve shit in this country.
It's not that they don't want to solve it. Too many people for so many years have buried these things so deep you cannot resurrect them. They're buried miles deep.
Then how do we, you know? You guys want to meet my dog?
Hold on, Sharon.
You gotta
Only
kick my
one
dog
cause
out.
for inflation: government spending more than government takes in. The cure is a balanced budget. But they tell us 80% of the budget is uncontrollable. It's fixed by laws passed by Congress. Well, laws passed by Congress can be repealed by Congress. And if Congress is unwilling to do this, then isn't it time we elect a Congress that will? Then came a White House proposal for a $28 billion tax cut to be matched by a $28 billion cut in the proposed spending. Not in the present spending, but in the proposed spending in the new budget. Well, my question then and my question now is, if there was $28 billion in the new budget that could be cut, what was it doing there in the first place? Unfortunately, Washington doesn't feel the same pain from inflation that you and I do. As a matter of fact, government makes a profit on inflation. For instance, last July, Congress vaccinated itself against that pain. It very quietly passed legislation, which the president signed into law, which automatically now gives a pay increase to every congressman every time the cost of living goes up. It would have been nice if they thought of some arrangement like that for the rest of us. There's only one cause for inflation. There's only one cause.
Oop, there you go. There you go. There's only one cause for inflation, and President Ronald Reagan just told you what the cause is: government. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Well, during the Reagan administration was also the installation of the indoctrination of turning our children into narcs, and that the drug war
Beg to
became
differ
really
with
bad.
you. No, beg to differ with you. That did not happen under Ronald Reagan. That happened under Gerald Ford.
Son of a biscuit! Serious?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gerald
what?
Ford.
So was Reagan trying to fix it?
Ronald Reagan was the best thing this country's had since Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, but so what happened then during his term that made it to where he decided to allow the private prisons to be built in this country? Because that's when those prisons were built, was during the 80s when drug abuse resistance education started.
They were built. No, hold up. You got to get your historical facts right. You got to get your historical facts right.
Teach me.
They were built under Jimmy Carter's administration. The work began under the Carter administration because Jimmy Carter laid the groundwork for what we today now know as FEMA. Okay? Understand that we have to get our history. People don't understand the history. They don't want to remember it, or they were too young to remember it.
Well, no, this is stuff that if the internet is teaching us right, unless the internet lies, because we spend countless hours trying to cross-reference what's given to us on, those platforms.
And you got to be very careful, Sharon, cross-referencing, because there's a lot of fake shit out there.
Well, Corrections Corporation of America, Core Civic, and GEO Group, they're not fake. And prisons operating on our stock exchange, that's just pretty inappropriate.
Well, I understand who they are, but understand this. Where I think what you're referring to is under Janet Reno is when the Department of Justice really exploded.
Okay.
And she was under Ronald Reagan for a portion of his term. And she wasn't there for the whole thing. She spent 4 years there of his 8 years. Janet Reno exploded the Department of Justice by submitting proposal after proposal asking for more money for the Department of Justice. Little did they realize they just gave her the money without question because they liked Ronald Reagan so much. The problem was the money she was asking for was laying the groundwork for this massive albatross called FEMA. It's no accident it's called Homeland Security.
Right.
They took that name from Germany, by the way, from Nazi Germany.
No, we took a lot more than that name from Germany.
The Ministry of Propaganda was called the Department of Homeland Security, directly from Hitler. Okay? And you need to understand your fucking history. People watching this need to know.
Right. All I can do especially when I keep getting jacked of my information, if I'm not able to ground out, if they don't let human beings, specific human beings, they just, I don't know what their deal is. I'm not used to it. We're not taught that weird shit on construction sites. They're given schematics and prints and we build, Sure. So that just makes it to where you just kind of don't understand. Like it seems simple to somebody from the middle class. We're like, this is a mathematical situation, bro. And then with everything else, it's like, religion, do your job. Stop repressing the energy, teach spirit. They all share that in common. Oh, that's breath, oxygen. We all share that in common. Right. Bada boom, bada bing. And we solve some problems around here. So for me as a 43-year-old or 44, however fucking old I am, coming from the middle class, it's confusing to me because I never learned manipulation and, things like that. You treat a janitor the same that you would a politician or
23 years on you. So here's the thing. You have to be of a certain age and mindset to understand certain things because, I lived it, to some extent, Mike Murphy lived it, a little younger than I am. But, but Amelia, you're probably closer to Sharon's age
Mhm.
than Mike and I,
Mhm.
because I'm 64. So here's the thing, though. If you've lived it, you understand it. If you haven't lived it, you'll never. No one can ever explain it to you. You'll never understand it.
Okay,
Right.
You know,
well,
it's like
may
trying to explain to somebody what happened when
Mhm.
Bobby Kennedy got shot. Unless you
Right.
lived it, it's hard to explain.
well,
Right.
like, okay, so I looked up today how much money, because if I was actually, somebody suggested, why don't you blackmail the corporate executives to get donations? Because I've got a money block.
Yeah,
When it
no, I
comes to that
wouldn't
stuff.
do
Even
that.
though I shop at I would spend so much money in Home Depot, like nobody's business. But like, it's when I look up how much money they spend, on their smear campaign commercials, and then also calm down right now. No, calm. And then also on calm down. My dog is going crazy right now.
He's fine.
Uh,
Don't worry,
and then
no
also
dogs under
on
here.
their campaigns, that those millions of dollars they could spend directly on what's poverty stricken. That's what confuses me. I don't understand that part. Hey, Heine, calm down.
I'll tell you what. We are going to continue on Thursday. Let me say goodnight to everybody right now. So,
Mhm.
Sharon Bodine, first time guest on the show.
Thank you for having
Thanks
me.
for being
Yes.
here. Stay with us. Don't
Yeah. Don't go anywhere.
hang
Just
up
stay
just
with
yet.
us.
Mike Murphy, you are a welcome sight all the time. You know that. You're part of the woodwork around this joint. I will see you guys Thursday night. Amelia, the
Yes.
Pitbull Chapman,
Actually, you
my
have an
able co-host.
exciting show Wednesday.
Tell
To be
everybody what's
fact,
coming up on the show.
you actually have a show that you're doing Wednesday.
I'm doing a show tomorrow night
Yes, tomorrow night.
with Alan Zweig, the
Mhm.
director of a film called When Jews Were Funny.
Mhm.
And we're going to talk about anti-Semitism.
Mhm.
And he's
Calm
Jewish,
down.
by the way.
Yes.
He's a
It's
Jew
all.
that made a film about Jews. Imagine that.
Mhm. Yeah, you have a
And,
one-on-one interview
and
with
his
him.
film was not widely received by the Jewish community.
Mhm.
And we're going to find out why. I want to find out why.
Yeah,
I
at
love this
7
film.
p.m. Eastern time here on What's the Buzz,
On
and
What's
you
the
can
Buzz?
watch live, and also you can listen in on Podbean as well. Um,
Yes,
and
you can join 700,000 people a month on
absolutely.
Podbean who love our show. By the way, as of tonight, I'm going to look at it for you right now while I'm looking at it.
And while he's
As
doing that,
of right now, over 9 million downloads
Mhm.
in the 5 years we've been on the air.
and on Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern, we will be doing a show called Decoding the Symbols. Symbolism is everywhere. You would not believe what hidden symbols
Yeah, boy.
you can find and what they mean. And we will be going over that. Places like Starbucks, Nike, even Five Guys,
Amazon, Google,
Amazon,
Facebook,
Google. You'll be surprised.
all
Facebook,
of them.
Gmail.
Boy, will you be surprised to
Oh,
find out where this shit
definitely.
emanated from.
Absolutely.
So for Sharon, Michael, the Pitbull, I am the Mad Dog. Take care, everybody. We'll see you Thursday night.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.